Yeah. Page 61, the Goodbye Song. We're showing you additional ideas you can try for accompaniment, just to get your imagination stirring to, oh, yeah, I could try that too for my accompaniment, for improvising stuff. For if somebody else has a melody, then try different things in the accompaniment. That first line, that ugly looking stuff, let's just break that down. What is going on? Well, this is typical piano. Good luck. When they start breaking up a chord between the two hands and the notes are close together. The stems going up are for the right hand, the stems going down are for the left hand, and they're telling you have to work that out very carefully. So let's just take the right hand first. The stems going up. If you look at it, you'll see the G and the C are connected. Stems going up, so the right hand's going to play those notes. The first measure. In the second measure, it is a G, a B flat, and a C for the right hand. And then third measure, back to C and G. And then in the last measure of the first line, it is a C, G, B. So the right hand's doing those two. E18. Left hand. Stems going down. You have an F and an A. And then these are eighth notes, so you have a C in there, so it's here. The next measure is just an F. And then back to the F and A. And then in the last measure is just an E. Put the two hands together. Well, which hand is on top? You have to decide which is easier. Usually the moving hand is going to be on top here. For me, it's easier if I put this hand on the bottom, so I'm going to leave this hand on the bottom. The right hand has to play a black note in the second measure, so I'm going to leave the right hand on top. I'm going to put the left hand below it, and it's here. Now, in somebody's crazy imagination, that sounded really great. Okay, that's fine. We're going to add pedal to it, which is even going to make it sound more whatever it's sounding now. But that's the idea of the first line. So when you break it down, it's not quite so bad. The melody here is in the left hand. If you look at the end of the first line, you see the little line going down. The melody's here. That's what we want to hear. And this accompaniment idea stuff then is in the right hand to give you ideas. I mean, you could be doing this accompaniment in the right hand with your left hand on other songs if the melody's up above. You could do this down below. No? Okay. So it's here. Bring out the melody. We want to hear it. We don't want to hear these chords. So here. If I play them the same, it's this way. Bring out the melody and keep the chords soft. Like so. Then you get down to the end of the third line. The melody now goes to the right hand. I need to break this up a bit. We'll talk about the right hand first, starting the last two lines of the piece. You're here, melody's the top note, bring it out if you can. Watch the fingering, there's a 2-4 on that. I suggest for the eighth notes in that second measure there, I would do a 3, 4, 5. And for the half note, that is a 2-5 there. So that measure, the second measure, you're here, 1, 3. And then I would do a 3, 4 for the eighth notes, and then for the half note is a 2, 5. And then you're ready for the next one. Remember the B flat? It's in the key signature. And this part is just plain awkward. How do you connect that? There's no pedal. We want to connect that. But they want you to play this chord. Well, this is where a little creativity comes in. I do this a lot, so I'm going to suggest you do it too. What I'm going to do is the bottom, if I left out the bottom note, the C in the chord, if I just played the E and the A, I wouldn't have a problem. I could connect that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play that C in the left hand, because it's there. Because the left hand's here. Well, I can catch that C right there. And that way it's all connected. No pedal cheating, no nothing, it's just there. I think that works out just fine. So I recommend you play that C in the dotted half note chord with the left hand. Just hold it down. You have to play it again in the left hand, but hold it down till you get there. Then the last line, there isn't really a fingering problem. You're okay, but look at the last two measures. The next to the last measure at the bottom is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Those two little lines, we call them railroad tracks, call a caesura. It means hold it, stop, just for an instant, just for a moment, just total silence. It's like syncopation. And then go on. So it would be here. I'm just giving the whole measure just an extra half a beat or a beat or whatever. Now when I play with a metronome, I can't give it a half a beat extra. So I'm going to pause for one full count, one full quarter note for that line. So it's like that measure will have 5 beats in it. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now the left hand doesn't have a lot going on. I mean, hopefully you don't have a problem. And the third line down, you're up here. I would recommend a 3 on that G sharp though, because that makes it a little easier for you to get your thumb on the A. Because you're closer. You can use 4, then you crunch up. But I like 3. Otherwise, just do what they're telling you to do. Now a little bit of trickiness. When you're at the bottom and you got to do the DC and go back to the top, you got to work any hand motions out because you don't want to mess up the beat. So you're ending up here. Then you got to go to here. Make sure you know this. The right hand's, you're there already. But the left hand's got to go from here to here. So be aware. You get 1 beat to do it in. You got a quarter rest there, so you can do that. So it's 1, 2, 3, rest. So have it there ready to go immediately during that rest, so you're ready to go back up to the top. I want to talk about the pedal, because they're adding pedal to this. I am picky on pedal. At the beginning, first line, you have overlapping pedal. So I'm going to push the pedal down right after I play the notes. The next measure, I'm going to change the pedal, or that is lift it up and put it down right after I play the first notes. So it's this way. The first 2 measures. It up after I play that chord in the last measure of the first line. And then now starting with the second line where we have this melody. Basically what we're doing is we're connecting the chords in the right hand, making them legato, right? Not choppy. That's another effect. I mean, it's a cool effect, you can try it, but for right now, the editor, author, whoever did this wants them connected. Now I like to hear the phrasing, so I'm going to lift up the pedal with the chords in the right hand so I get silence in the left hand, if that makes sense. And I put the pedal down after I play the notes. Now I don't know why they're not pedaling the last measure of the second line. Frankly, I think it's an error. I would suggest you pedal that too. Pedal the first 3 beats. Now in the third line down, second measure, they want you to do this. That to me ruins the whole thing. That is so out of character. We're going along so sweetly and so nice, and then they want to do that. I think, bleh. So I would suggest you don't put the pedal down until you play the half note in the left hand. Don't pedal the first beat. So, in other words, you won't be able to connect the first 2 chords, but to me that's a small price to pay for the benefit you're getting. Then it's overlap pedal then on the last 2 lines for the most part. I don't know, they're giving you conflicting information here, I'm not sure. The phrase in that 4th line down goes all the way to the dotted half note. But the pedaling wise, it's not being phrased that way. So in my mind, I would keep an overlapping pedal. The first 3 measures is overlapping pedal. Lift the pedal up in the 3rd measure after I play those C's. Lift it up so we don't blur the 8th notes. Then lift it up with the hands so we get a break in the phrase. And again, I would overlap pedal here. I would not split the pedal. And then lift the pedal up with the hands for a 1 beat, for us, 1 beat pause, and then we go on, then back to the top, etc. And that's how I would recommend you do the pedaling. Now, let's go ahead and try this slowly together. It's a slow piece anyway. But let's try it slowly. They're saying very steady, which means nothing to me, because we're going to be very steady anyway. If anything, it would mean don't do a lot of rubato. Well, we're not doing rubato right now, and you may not even know what it is. Doesn't matter, we're not doing it right now. So just a nice steady beat. That's what we've been trying to do all along, right? Well, sure it is. I know it is. So 4/4 time, I'm going to give us 4 counts. Let's play this slowly together. There's a D, C, Al, Fine at the bottom, so we're going to go back up to the top and play down to Fine, which is toward the end of the 3rd line. You do the dynamics, you can see it. The first time you're going to play it loud, and after you do the D, C and go back up, you're going to play it soft. 1, 2, and ready, and go, and...